Good morning, this is Shelby Law with the Great Basin Prescribed Fire and Smoke Briefing for Monday, April 1st, 2024. Precip for the past 7 days is shown here on the left, and the percent of average for the past 30 days on the right. It's been an active 7 days with precip coming to most of the Great Basin. That would be high elevation snow, low elevation rain for the most part. We have seen a few flakes at the lower elevations. And then the last 30 days percent of average, we have quite a few pockets of above normal there in Utah and Nevada, even portions of Idaho. A couple dry spots out there, but all in all, a pretty good month for precip. Our snow totals for the past 72 hours are shown here on the left. We can see that with the recent storm that moved through over the weekend did bring some pretty good snow to the higher elevations of Nevada, Utah, up into southeast Idaho, and western Wyoming. And our current snowpack still remains pretty healthy for Utah and Nevada, above average in most of those areas. And then up into Idaho, right at average across the south, and a little bit below average there in the central Idaho mountains. So still a pretty good story as we head into the 1st of April. This morning's satellite imagery is not looped, and I don't have the 500 millibar heights on here, but we can see there's we're moving into a high pressure ridge moving into the Great Basin. It's kind of developing along the west coast right now as the low from the weekend is still kicking out. So we do have some lingering moisture in Utah today before a couple of days of warm, dry conditions for most of the area. Anyway, we'll talk about that. So for today, again, here's our upper level story. The high pressure, or the low pressure that moved in through the weekend is kind of moving down to the south and will be kicking off to the east here in the next couple of days. Lingering moisture over Utah for some isolated scattered showers there today. Elsewhere, drier across the region as a ridge builds into the western U.S. Ventilation rates are high today. Transport winds are going to be a little bit elevated over western Utah and southern Nevada, and mixing heights are also pretty high. Maximum temperatures a little bit warmer than yesterday, with highs in the mid 50s, even quite a bit warmer up north, maybe mid 60s near Boise, and some of the parts in the west as that ridge begins to build in. Probably the precip shown here on the right, just some lingering showers over mainly the higher elevations of central Utah, and sunny skies, drying conditions elsewhere. On Tuesday, the ridge really begins to build into the western U.S. for a nice sunny day for most of the Great Basin. On Tuesday, ventilation rates lower with that ridge moving in. Transport winds are pretty light across much of the area on Tuesday, just some breezy conditions right there across the southern Utah. And mixing heights are also going to be high across the south, but lower across the central portions of the Great Basin. On Wednesday, for the most part, we're still going to see that ridge in place for warm and dry conditions, but we do begin to see a low pressure system moving into the Pacific Northwest, which could bring some clouds, rain, cooler temperatures into central Idaho and maybe northwest Nevada by late in the day on Wednesday. Ventilation rates are lower in Utah, a little bit higher elsewhere ahead of that next low. Transport winds on Wednesday will begin to pick up over Idaho and western Nevada ahead of that next low, and they'll be light in Utah. Mixing heights will also pick up in western Nevada ahead of that low. Forecasted clearing index for the next couple of days for Utah is shown here. Nice and high values today as we transition to the ridge. On Tuesday, those will decrease across the north as the ridge sets in and remain somewhat low into Wednesday as well, just with that ridge in place. 3-day precip totals are shown here. Precip over Utah is going to happen today. The precip over Idaho comes in on Wednesday, late in the day Wednesday and overnight Wednesday. On Thursday, that low drops further south into off the coast of central California, bringing showers and cooler temperatures to western Idaho and much of Nevada, but Utah still will stay dry and warm out ahead of that front. Ventilation rates are pretty high. We should see winds pick up a bit as this low drops further south. And then on Friday, the low kind of swings into the Great Basin, bringing moisture to the eastern half of the area, so we could see continued shower conditions move into the east and continued shower conditions across the west. Ventilation rates remaining high with that low. On Saturday, that low will kind of kick off to the north and east. Lingering showers across the eastern half of the Great Basin are expected on Saturday. Ventilation rates still remaining high. And then on Sunday, another low drops south off the California coast, beginning to bring some precipitate or some moisture back into the Great Basin. I don't know if we'll see a lot of precip on Sunday, but that low sitting there off the California coast, and ventilation rates still remaining pretty high. Okay, precip accumulations for days 4 and 5. This is Thursday through Saturday morning. Again, the bulk of the precip will be coming into Idaho and Nevada as that low stays kind of on the western half of the Great Basin. But Friday into Saturday, some precip will spread into the eastern half of the area. The extended forecast for April 8th through the 14th. It's kind of a mixed bag with some dry pockets out there across the north and west with warm pockets, in the north and west, and cooler temperatures across the south and east, and then also some drier conditions across the north with maybe higher chances of precip across the south. And that concludes today's briefing. Please check back on Wednesday for the latest updates.